This morning, I want to talk to you about Eliyahu the prophet, how the Eliyahu the prophet of First Kings, I guess it was First Kings and Second Kings, is very similar to the Eliyahu to come in the form of two witnesses. I want to go ahead and get started on this. What I'm going to do is explain why this pair is coming. But first, what I'll do is start with Matthew 1. Let's see. No, that's not the one. I want Mark 9. Mark 9 and verse 12. Of course, the apostles that had gone up, Peter, James, and John, had gone up to the high mountain with Yehoshua, not Jesus. Yehoshua is his name. And he appeared transfigured before them, and his raiment became shining, and exceedingly white as snow, so as no fuller on the earth can white them. In other words, the white of snow was so white it couldn't be whitened anymore. And there appeared unto him Eliyahu and Moshe, and they were talking with Yehoshua. And Peter answered and said unto Yehoshua, Master, is it good for us to be here? And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, one for Eliyahu. And he didn't know what to say, for they were so afraid. And there was a cloud that overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved son, hear ye him. And suddenly, when he had looked round about, they saw no man anymore except Yehoshua, only with themselves. So they saw a vision. It was a vision. Give me a second, turn the phone off so people are not texting me. It was only a vision. And as they came down the mountain, he charged that they should tell no man what things they had seen until the Son of Man was risen from the dead. And they kept saying within themselves, and they questioned to one another while the rising from the dead, what the rising of the dead should mean. And they asked him, saying, What say the scribes that Eliyahu must first come? And he answered and told them, Eliyahu verily comes first and restores all things. But how is it written of the Son of Man that he must first suffer many things and be set to nothing? What he's doing here is he is pointing out that their logic is flawed. But how is Eliyahu the prophet to come to restore all things, and then the Son of Man be rejected? You see, for Eliyahu the prophet to come and restore all things, prepare you the way of Jehovah, for the most significant Eliyahu the prophet situation, it would have to be when Messiah comes as a coming king, a conquering king, and not as a suffering servant. This is the reason why he talked to them this way. But I say unto you that Eliyahu is indeed come, and they have done whatever they listed as written of him. So he's talking, he's saying, but yet Eli'Yah the prophet did come in Yohanan. So if we want to set the record straight here, we need to go to Malachi 4. Verse 1. Behold, the day comes that shall burn as an oven. Why is it burning as an oven? I'll explain to you in just a minute why. And all the proud, yes, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Means they're going to be burned up. For that day come shall burn them up, saith Jehovah of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name, what is his name? Is his name God? No. Is his name Jesus? No. His name is Jehovah. Shall the brightness of righteousness arise with healing in its wings, and it shall go forth, and you will go forth and grow up as calves in the stall. And you shall tread down the wicked. We have just discussed this, the Gentiles. For they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, says Jehovah of hosts. Remember you the Torah of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgment. Yes, that is correct. For it is written. Jeremiah 31, verses 31 to 34, and Hebrews 8, verses 8 through 12. That Jehovah is going to give a new covenant unto the house of Judah and to the house of Israel. And they shall no more every man teach his neighbor, know Jehovah, for they all shall know him from the least to the greatest. And he will write his Torah in their inward parts. Yes, the Torah. Okay. Look, I will send you Eli'Yah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Jehovah's wrath. Well, the day of Jehovah's wrath is yet to come. It came first on Jerusalem when Jerusalem was handed over to Satan, handed over to Rome. And Rome was false gods, Zeus, Jupiter, Apollyon, etc. He shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Now, I've gone to Isaiah 66, and I've showed in Isaiah 66 where the two witnesses will be, who are going to be the two witnesses. And I probably should go ahead and go there. In Isaiah 66 once again. Now, we just read about the judgment upon the wicked. What did I just do? Okay. The judgment upon the wicked, verse 15, for behold, Jehovah will come with fire and with his chariots. Yes, his chariots, to bring Israel back home. Like a whirlwind, like a storm, to render his anger and fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by the sword will Jehovah plead with all flesh, and the slain of Jehovah shall be many. This is what Malachi 4 was talking about. And right here it talks about, for I know their works and their thoughts, and it shall come that I will gather all nations and all tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I pointed out, when you read in Ezekiel 38 and 39, how they're going to see his glory. That's the punishment that he lays down upon them. That's what his glory is. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of Israel on back to the nations, back to the Gentiles. How many is he going to send? Well, if you read in Revelation 11, you will find it will be 2. There will be 2 sent. The 2 witnesses. And if you read other translations, you'll see Tarshish, Pul, Lud, Meshech, Tubal, Rosh, Yaravan, to the coastlands afar off, which is essentially Europe, Italy, France, etc. That have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they will declare my glory unto the Gentiles. How will they do that? Bringing plagues upon them. When you read Ezekiel 38 and 39, it becomes abundantly clear that it's not going to be a positive experience. That showing his glory to the Gentiles is going to serve a purpose. So let's go then to, is it Matthew? And let's go to 2 Kings, is it? Yeah, 2 Kings 1. Then, verse 1, then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab. And Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chambers. That was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, go and inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron. Now, who is Baal-zebub? Well, it says here, if I can get this to pull up now, the god of flies is what it's going to pull up. If you investigate further, it would be the flying god, as they say. The god of flight. Well, it's not pulling up. Looking at my router here, making sure I've been getting marginal reception lately. It doesn't look like, wow, got nothing. I hope I don't have to stop the video. Well, let me go back. So let's find out who Baal-zebub is. All right. Matthew 12 and verse 22, then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch as the blind and dumb spoke and saw. And when the people were amazed, they said, is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this fellow does not cast out devils, except by Beelzebub, the prince of devils. That would be Satan himself, is what they're saying. And he knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And that's going to happen, by the way. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And we're witnessing that right now with Western civilization. All these governments of Western civilization are divided against itself. This is what we are witnessing right now, but I don't want to get off topic here. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then shall his kingdom stand? And if by Beelzebub cast out devils, if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? All right. So this is confirming that Beelzebub is actually Satan, the devil. So we go back to 2 Kings 1. And so he inquires of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, the Philistines, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of Jehovah said unto Eli'Yah the Tishbite, Arise and go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not an Elohim in Israel, that you should inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore, thus saith Jehovah, you shall not come down from that bed on which you are gone up, but you shall surely die. And when the messengers turned back unto him, unto Isaiah, he said unto them, Why have you come back? And they said unto him, There came a man unto meet us, and said unto us, Go turn again unto the king that sent you. Say unto him, Thus saith Jehovah, is it not because there is not a God in Israel, Elohim in Israel, that you send to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore, you shall not come down from that bed on which you are gone up, but you shall surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he that came up to meet you and told you these words? And they answered him, He was a hairy man, and girt about a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Eli'Yah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50. And he went up to him, and behold, sat on top of a hill. And he spoke unto him, You, man of Elohim, the king has said, Come down. And Eli'Yah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of Elohim, then let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. And there came fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Before I continue any further, I want to point out the name of Eli'Yah, what it means. The name Eli'Yah is an argument. Yes, it's an argument. It's a statement declaring that Jehovah is Elohim and nobody else. That's what it means. Look. Oh, that's right. I'm having trouble going into amazing. No, it went this time. Okay. It's pronounced here as Eli'Yah. In other ways, it's pronounced as Eli'Yah. And once again, I don't know why. As soon as I went to click back, it was there. But it means Jehovah or Yah is Elohim. That's what it means. It is an argument. It is not your God, not your false God, not the God of flies, not Satan. I'll get to that in a minute. So, Eli'Yah answered and said unto the captain of 50, If I be a man of Elohim, then let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. And there came fire down from heaven and consumed him his 50. And again, he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50, and said unto him, O man of Elohim, thus saith the king, Come down quickly. And Eli'Yah said unto them, If I be a man of Elohim, let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. And the fire of Elohim came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Why? Because they were going to kill him. I'll get to that in a minute too. And then the king sent yet another captain of a third 50 with his 50, and the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Eliyahu, or Eli'Yah, and besought him and said unto him, O man of Elohim, I pray you let my life and the life of these 50 your servants be precious in your sight. Big change of attitude. Behold, there came down fire from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore let my life be gracious in your sight. And the angel of Jehovah said unto Eliyahu, Go down with him, be not afraid of him. He's not going to hurt you. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, said to the king, Thus saith Jehovah, forasmuch as you have sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no Elohim in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore, for this reason, you shall not come up off that bed on which you are gone up, but you shall surely die. Now, this is the same sick bed that Jezebel with the church of Thyatira is going to be set on. Why? Because members of that church were sacrificing to Beelzebub. Let's go there for just a second. And then we'll talk about the rain, the years of no rain. Okay, what was I going to look at now? Now I didn't forgot what I was. Yeah, Revelation 2. Well, come on. Amazing. Internet connection is terrible. All right. Verse 18, and to the angel of the church in Thyatira write, These things saith the Son of Elohim, who has eyes like unto a flame of fire and his feet are like fine brass. I know your works, charity and service and faith, and your patience and your works, and the last to be even more than the first. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against you, because you have allowed that woman Jezebel. Why did he call her Jezebel? Because it was Jezebel, Ahab's wife, who was the enemy, listen very carefully, folks, of Eliyahu the prophet. And she caused Ahab and the children of Israel to worship idols, even worse than those who came before Ahab. Please understand, she, Jezebel, was an enemy of Eliyahu the prophet. This Jezebel is going to have a meeting with a coming pair of Eliyahu or Eli'Yah the prophet. This woman, Jezebel, which calls herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Behold, I will cast her into a bed. Now, having trouble going to Strong's Concordance, but as I pointed out in previous videos, this bed that he's going to cast her in is a sick bed. The same sick bed that Ahaziah was cast into because he inquired of the chief of demons, Baal-zebub. Today, that Jezebel is the Catholic Church and all the other Protestant churches that do her or follow her footsteps. The great harlot, the great whore, Rome, is going to be cast into a sick bed. And her children are going to be killed with death, as it says right here. It says that that Yehoshua the Messiah is going to do this himself, and I will kill her children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he that searches the rein and hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to his works. Now, let's go back to I want to go to Revelation 11. Verse 1, and it was given unto me to read like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of Elohim, and the altar, and them that which worship therein. This was in the time when the temple was still setting on its rightful place. But the court which is outside the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And they will tread the holy city down for 42 months, and they did. The king of Rome ordered it, and the prince of the king of Rome performed it, exactly as written in Daniel 9. In spite of what your preacher might tell you. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth, right here. If any man will hurt him, fire proceeds out of their mouth, which means they have the power to call fire down from heaven and devour their enemies. And if anyone even thinks about hurting them, this is how they're going to be killed. They have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. How long will they prophesy? 1,260 days. For every day that the Gentiles besiege Jerusalem, from the spring of 67 to the autumn of 70. For each and every day. No rain. Yes, Eliyahu the prophet is coming in the form of two men before the day, great and terrible day of Jehovah come, exactly as it says in Malachi. And the earth will burn, and the wicked, the followers of Baal-zebub, are going to burn like the stubble. Let's go to um, First Kings. Let's see here. Go to the part where here we go again. Well, let's see here. I think it's chapter 18. We'll go to chapter 17. Okay, chapter 16. Well, I have called my internet service provider twice about fixing this problem, and they have attempted to fix this twice, and apparently they are not able to. Let me try another page here. First Kings 17. Oh, it's 16. Right. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Unbelievable. I didn't click anything. Now I want to go to King James Version. What's going on here? That one is still messed up. All right. No. Omri, Ahab. What happened to... We're missing something here. How do you go from... This makes no sense. How do you... Okay, I got Ahab. I don't understand. All right. I'll have to do this. It was in 1 Kings 17 and verse 1. I can't get these things to do anything. This is amazing. Please bear with me, folks. I'll try to get this fixed. Okay. What threw me off is right here where it says the ravens feed Eli'Yah. That's not what it should read. It says, now Eli'Yah the Tishbite, who was among the settlers of Gilead, said to Ahab, as surely as Jehovah, the Elohim of Israel, lives, before whom I stand. See, this is why I want the King James Version in this particular instance, because that's what it says, before whom I stand. Before whom I stand. Okay, so now we can look at Revelation 11, and here's what it says. Okay. Clothed in sackcloth, these are the two olive trees, the two candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth. In other words, Jehovah, before whom they stand. In other words, the power of Eli'Yah. Elisha had the power of Eli'Yah as well, because he mentioned this, he used the same terminology. Okay? As Jehovah lives, as Jehovah the Elohim of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain in these years, but according to my word. And the word of Jehovah came unto him, saying, get you out of here and turn eastward and hide yourself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. Okay, so Jehovah feeds him there at the brook, and then sends him to a widow. Now let's see if I can go to chapter 18. Okay, and it came to pass after many days, according to, is it James or John, that it was 3.5 years. Exactly 3.5 years. Let me see if I can find it. This thing right here just died. Yes, James 5 and verse 17. Now I wonder if this is going to just sit there and do nothing like it did before. Well, okay. Eli'Yah or Eli'Yah was a man with a nature like ours. I'll go to King James. Subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. 42 months. 1,260 days. 3.5 years. Exactly as written in Revelation 11. 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, this is exactly Eli'Yah or Eli'Yah the prophet. All right. And what is the first thing that they do? Shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. Why? They have something to prove. I'll show you. They have something to prove. So we're going to go to now to 1 Kings 18. Verse 1, and it came to pass after many days, after the word of Jehovah came to Eli'Yah in the 3rd year. Yes, after 3 years and 6 months. saying, go show yourself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Eli'Yah went to show himself unto Ahab, and there came a sore, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. In other words, because there was 3.5 years of no rain, there was no food. People were starving to death. Many died of starvation. Why? Show you. Now, so we'll scroll down here because you can read the rest of this for yourself. So Eli'Yah or Eli'Yah had a meeting with Ahab. So Ahab sent to all the children of Israel, verse 20, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Eli'Yah came unto all the people and said, how long do you halt between two opinions? Okay. Christianity. How long do you halt between two opinions? What do you mean? You try to have it both ways. And because of that, because you have among you, and you are those that follow after that Jezebel, just like the church in Thyatira, and that Jezebel is going to be cast on the sickbed. Why? Because she seeks after Beelzebub, Satan, and she thinks that that's her savior. How long will you halt between two opinions? If Jehovah, not if the Lord. No, it's if Jehovah be Elohim, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. You see, today it's the same way. Christians want to have it both ways. The Gentile Christians want to have it both ways. What do I mean? I'll get there. Just give me a minute. The people answered him not a word, and then Eli'Yah went unto the people. Only I remain the prophet of Jehovah, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them dress 1 bullock for themselves and cut it in pieces and lay it on the wood and put it on fire under. And I will dress the other bullock and lay it on the wood and put no fire under. And call you on the name of your false gods, and I will call upon the name of Jehovah. Let's see if I can get Strong's Concordance to pull this up so that there be no doubt here. Probably not. Amazing. Well, we'll continue. Well, I can't. All right. Well, where's the rest of it? All right. I don't even know where I was now. You call upon the name of your false gods, and I will call upon the name of, what does that say? Jehovah. I shouldn't have clicked that because it's going to take another half an hour. Let's go back real quick. Unbelievable. I will call upon the name of Jehovah, and the Elohim that answers by fire, let him be Elohim. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. And Eli'Yah said unto the prophets, or Eli'Yah, I have to learn to pronounce it correctly. I learned it differently in another location. Choose you 1 bullock for yourselves and dress it. And I think I will just gone over this. And it came to pass at midday had passed, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice. There was neither voice nor any to answer, nor to any regard. And right here it says, Eli'Yah mocked him and said, cry aloud, for he is a god. Either is he talking, or he's pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure he sleeps and he must be awake. Then Eli'Yah said unto all the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him. And he repaired the altar of Jehovah that was broken down. And Eli'Yah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of Jehovah came, saying, Israel shall be your name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Jehovah, not in the name of a false god, not even in the name of Jesus. And he made a trench about the altar, as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, fill the 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, do it again. They did it the 2nd time, and he said, do it a 3rd time. And they did it the 3rd time, and water ran about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. Now, this is where it gets good. And it came to pass, at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, timing is everything, folks, Eli'Yah the prophet came near and said, Jehovah Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel. Right here. See that? Jehovah Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel. Let it be known this day that you are Elohim in Israel, and that I am your servant, and I have done these things at your word. Hear me, O Jehovah, hear me, that this people may know that you are Elohim, and that you have turned their heart back again. All right. Of course, you know the rest of the story. And I will finish reading here, but I'm not going to lose my train of thought. Then the fire from Jehovah fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was back in the trench. And all the people saw it, and they fell on their faces, and they said, Jehovah, he is the Elohim. Jehovah, he is Elohim. And Eli'Yah said unto them, now take the prophets of Baal, let not a single one of them escape. And they took them. And Eli'Yah brought them down to the brook of Kishon and slew them there. Then Jehovah sends rain. What does it say here? It says, verse 37, hear me, O Jehovah, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Elohim, that Jehovah Elohim, and that you have turned their hearts back again. For a moment that was so, but there are 2 men that are coming, which Eli'Yah, his works pointed to them in the future. He's going to bring, those 2 are going to bring the Gentiles down, bring punishment on the Gentiles, the Gentile churches, for forsaking Jehovah, the Elohim of Israel, and chasing after a false god that they call Jesus. Because Jesus is of Zeus, the chief of the demons. The name of the real Messiah must have the name of Jehovah in it, otherwise it is false. If the name of Jehovah is not in the name of the Messiah, that is by default Satan or Baal, Baalzebub, Lord of the Flies. Satan. Take a look around you. All these Christian nations, look what's happened to them. Yehoshua, not Jesus, Yehoshua said that if a nation is divided against itself, it cannot stand. That is exactly right. Because now the kingdoms of Satan, the kingdom of Satan is divided against itself. Just take a look around you. Europe, United States, Muslim countries, all of them. It is a kingdom divided against itself, and it is going to crash to the ground. The two witnesses are going to come up. They're going to declare Jehovah's glory, beginning with 3.5 years of no rain. Malachi 4 will be fulfilled in those two witnesses. We'll go there again. For behold, the day is coming, burning as a furnace, when all the proud and every evildoer will be stubble. The day is coming when I will set them ablaze, saith Jehovah of hosts. Neither root nor branch will be left of them. Okay? Right here it says in verse 5, behold, I will send you Eli'Yah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Jehovah. And he will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the hearts of the children to their fathers. This would be this. Let me explain. Now you have it in short. When Israel's enemies are burning like a furnace because 3.5 years of no rain is set upon them, then the people of Israel, their hearts will be turned back to their fathers, back to the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The two witnesses are, in fact, Eli'Yah and Eli'Yah, two of them. Why two? I don't know. Is one going to Rome and one going to Russia? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Or two of them going to be standing together. We do know this, that before whom I stand, that Elisha said the same thing. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Why does this thing do that? What is this thing doing? I didn't want a New Testament search. All right. So we see the statement before whom I stand, or as Jehovah of hosts lives before whom I stand. This is Eli'Yah saying this. Now, look here, Elisha the prophet. He says the same thing. As Jehovah of hosts lives before whom I stand. These are the two witnesses that stand before the Elohim of the earth. Now, the two that lived in the days of the kings, they've already done their work. There are two that are coming with their power that will be like the both of them. And they're the ones that are going to execute this judgment upon the Gentiles so that all Israel will come back home. It's coming.